They're protecting their friends and spying on their critics. A government bigwig saying she'll take to the fifth today rather than incriminating herself in the government targeting of conservatives, you know, and Tea Party organizations and patriot organizations. Not only were email records seized, but phone records too because of our reporting. Can we actually trust our nation's highest law enforcement officers any longer when you combine these two stories? First things first. When Lois Lerner takes the fifth,
sure,
what does that mean to a man who studies the law? That is built into our Constitution. Are we wrong to assume guilt?
If there was a jury would be told not to assume guilt. But this is a congressional hearing, and others have pointed out that we can take away from it what we think. If someone says that I want to take the Fifth Amendment, it means that their testimony may tend to incriminate them, put them in legal jeopardy for a crime they may have committed, and so they're saying, I'm taking my constitutional right, and I'm not going to do that. So this was allegedly a few rogue people. This was a confusion. This was people in Cincinnati, low level. Now we're talking about crimes. We talked about crimes last week. We talked about how the IRS laws make it a crime to mess with people's returns or their ability to execute tax laws in this country. That's a crime. At the same time, we know that the Fox News telephone lines, and probably phone lines that a lot of us have used in this room today, including you, including me, including Steve, including Gretchen, including correspondents on this show, those records have been seized by the federal government. We know James Rosen's records have been seized. His parents' records have been seized. We know that there have been records seized in the Fox News headquarters in Washington and in New York, and executives there. And so that's in response to Fox News reporting on a story a few years ago.
Without our knowledge, and a judge would have to approve this, correct?
The judge would have to approve it, but what happened is the federal government told the judge that Fox News, through James Rosen, was an aider and abettor and a co-conspirator, not indicted, but someone who was part of a crime, accused him of being part of a crime.
Played to his vanity and ego.
You know what the crime he committed? He was reporting for Fox News. And so we've seen it over the years, the attacks on Fox News, the partnership with other networks, the partnership with so-called 501c4s that were phonies, that were liberal setups. We've seen the being taken out of press briefings. We've seen being excluded. But now, for the first time, in conjunction with the AP, we see this broad attack on a news organization by saying, we're going to look at your phone records. We're going to look at your emails. We don't like the reporting you're doing. We say there's a double standard. We're going to allow the IRS to go off the rails. But at the same time, if you do what you're supposed to do under the Constitution, we're going to look at your records.
And no, I know you're not just saying it's a double standard. It's not just your opinion, because the New York Times had bigger leak stories that they made the administration look good. There was no prosecution. There was zero follow-up.
This applies to every American. Every American relies on a free press. Whether you like Fox News, whether you hate Fox News, they're doing the job. And if you disagree with them, don't watch them. Don't tap them, though.
Put me under the category of likes Fox News.
I know you do.
Thank you very much, Peter Johnson.
Good to see you, Brian.